Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Petrikovsky. I'm professor of obstetrics and gynecology, and the views expressed in this video does not necessarily agree with the views of the institutions I'm affiliated with. So I really carry the sole responsibility for the content of this and other videos. What I would like to talk about today in this short video is the new classification of the brain damage related to COVID-19. We know that COVID-19, as well as many other viral infections, are something that affect the entire body. They get into the bloodstream and they cause changes in every system, including central nervous system. So the authors came with a new staging of the brain damage or brain injury related to COVID-19. The most common is stage 1. Many people experience it, and that's loss of sense of smell and taste. It's a very common feature of COVID-19, sometimes the only feature of the COVID-19. Very often so-called asymptomatic patients, meaning no cough, no fever, but they don't taste well and the smell is gone or the smell is changed. That has to do with the COVID influence on the central nervous system. That's called stage 1. Stage 2 is more involved and has to do with coagulopathy, or the mechanisms of various blood clotting that takes care in the entire body, causing probably mini strokes, some confirmed by MRI. And those particular cases, patients experience extreme fatigue, loss of energy, depression, occasional double vision, and obviously inability to move, loss of energy. A lot of people, it's called actually post-viral syndrome, and have been described not only for COVID-19 but other viruses itself. That's what they classify as stage 2, and many patients, especially those I talk to, admit to some of those signs. So clearly, neurological sequelae of COVID-19 are much wider spread than were thought in the beginning. Stage 3 is caused by so-called explosive inflammatory response. And this is actually so-called cytokine storm that has to do not only with the body but also with the brain. That particular stage is associated with aggression, irregular, irrational behavior. I am somewhat convinced that part of the rioting that took place are mostly or in some degree related to stage 3 COVID-19 infection. What's important is that you don't need to be very sick in general to experience COVID-19 3-stage brain damage. So a lot of young people who were strong enough not to develop cough, not to be placed on the respirator, but still experiencing this stage of brain damage and act inappropriately. So the psychiatrists and people who take care of COVID patients are aware of increase in domestic violence, suicide, aggression. That's actually a combination of isolation that people are not used to, but clearly based, according to this study and other studies, on the so-called stage 3 of brain damage in COVID-19. So obviously you and your loved one, whoever is affected, need to watch for those signs and provide care and provide compassion and understanding in those cases. Thank you and stay safe.